Welcome back. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation, my favorite radio station. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We're creating millionaires one family at a time. Today's $1 million topic of the day is how to end your spending addiction. If you want to get to the next level financially, got to get that spending under control, because guess what? If you make $50,000 a year, but you spend $60,000, you live in check to Monday. If you make $250,000 a year, but you spend $350,000, you live in check to Monday. If you make $10 million a year, but you spend $20 million, it's going to be extremely problematic, because the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So the more responsibility you have that you cannot meet, the more pressure you're going to feel. So don't think that the answer to your money problem is to get more money. Simply, that's not the only thing, because if more money would solve a money problem, you'd never have a bankrupt millionaire. You'd never have a bankrupt billionaire. So it's a mindset change. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the mindset that we want to change. You know, I am aware that there is an unfortunate situation happening throughout our communities. And I'll talk to you about one of them in particular. I know that there are children in high school, young adults who are in high school who are homeless, or at least classifying themselves as homeless for one reason or another. Maybe there's a domestic issue at home. Maybe the parents simply are not available. But these children are being classified as homeless, and it's a system. And being classified as homeless means that they get access to free lunch, free transportation, free bus card, no expenses. If there are specific things that require a fee at the school, then they don't have to, either A, they don't have to participate, or B, they get to participate complimentary. Now, here's the problem. First of all, I want to, give my utter just respect. I think homelessness is something that should not happen. I know what I'm going to do as I grow and as I get more empowered. I understand that my capacity is to help other people who are not as fortunate as I. The only reason in this world why you get an opportunity to live better, be better, do better, and get more is to help yourself and help build the kingdom, help other people. So I believe that. But I also know that there are instances, and it's more instances that I care to even acknowledge, where these same people who are claiming that they are homeless are also showing up at proms with, $700, $900 shoes, red bottoms. Let me tell you something. There's nothing about a red bottom that I ever want that's going to cause me to pay $900 for it. I'm just not going to do it. They're showing up at prom with dresses and $500 weaves and nails done and, all of these things. And we have got to get a handle. We've got to get a handle on where we're spending our money and why we are placing value in things that don't bring us any value. Why are we doing that? I believe we come from a history of not having. And when we get the opportunity to have, we have to show the world we got it. Maybe you were brought up in a situation where you were entitled. Maybe your parents gave you too much. And so as you got older, you had a certain expectation. I've certainly been guilty of that. I was guilty of bringing my children up in an entitled environment, paying for things, going on trips and being excessive and not having a budget. And so when everything fell apart, I had to pull back. I had to pull them out of cheerleading that I was paying for, going all across the country. They went and cheered at school for free. I had to pull them out of dance. They went and got in the dance ministry at church for free. I had to pull them out of private school. They went to the free school where I was already paying taxes. Now, of course, I had to do some talking and coaching, and emotionally, it was an issue. But the truth is, my children became settled and grounded as I became settled and grounded. So as long as I was thinking I had to do these things, of course, they thought they deserved it. They thought that that's what life was. See, I was in a position to teach my children what life was and is. And so are you. So we've got to stop thinking that we have to impress other people with things. I remember a conversation I had with Susan Taylor, the infamous editor-in-chief of Essence magazine. I call her the editor-in-chief forever. She is the editor-in-chief emeritus as far as I'm concerned. And I remember at a book signing she had probably over a decade ago, and she said something so powerful, because the question had come up from the audience. You know, how do you say no? How do you tell your family members no? How do you tell your friends no? How do you say no? And she said, no is a complete sentence. Changed my life. No is a complete sentence. When you say no, you don't have to validate it. When you say no, you don't have to justify it. The only person you may have to justify it to is yourself. And if you are feeling guilty, understand that your yes cannot be a cover up for your guilt. So you've got to go on and say no and then face what you're feeling. What do you feel guilty about? Do you feel guilty about promising something to someone that you knew you couldn't deliver when you promised it? Well, now is a time to tell yourself the truth first and then tell them. And to say, listen, when I made that commitment to you, I thought I was going to have the money. When I made that commitment to you, I was expecting a big check. When I made that commitment to you, I really wasn't thinking at all. I just wanted to please you and make you happy. But the truth is, now that it's time for me to meet that commitment, I can't do it. I don't have it. My bills are due. My rent needs to be paid. My mortgage is late. I don't even have enough money to pay my past due bills. See, we've got to start having honest conversations. One of the things that I talk about when I talk about how to end your battle with money for good, and I talk about the armor, and I talk about the armor from the perspective that is presented in Ephesians 6. I'm not going to go into it deeply here, but the first piece of the armor is truth. If you want to get your life in order, it says put on the belt of truth. Let me tell you something about a belt. A belt holds up everything, and the truth, not only will it set you free, it will make you free. You see, the truth may be difficult to face at first, but once you get past the difficulty, there's freedom. There's relief. I tell people all the time, if they're trying to repossess your car, let them take it. Stop trying to hide a car. You can't afford it. If you could afford it, you would have paid the bill. If you could afford it, or if you had priorities, you would have paid the bill. Whatever the case is, let's stop holding on to stuff that doesn't belong to us. And if we don't have the money to pay for it, if we have made mistakes, if we have not been in order, whatever it is, now is the time to let go. We're talking about ending your spending addiction. And that's when we spend more money than we have on stuff that we don't need to cure what I call a material illness. As a matter of fact, what my mentor, Russell Simmons, he calls it material illness. I'm going to talk about that after the break. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation. I am your host, Lynn Richardson. If you having issues right now, call me at 888-LYNN-123. That's 888-596-6123. I got a team of professionals around the country ready to help you. Go to lynnmillionaire.com. But we're going to take a break.
More of the Millionaires Roundtable coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation, my favorite radio station. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time. And in order to do that, you know what I'm going to say. We must end our spending addiction. When I was on the Super Rich tour with Russell Simmons, one of the issues or one of the concepts in the book is this idea of needing nothing. You see, when you operate from a state of needing nothing, then you already have everything. When you don't need anything, there's no anxiety. When you don't need anything, there's no fear. When you don't need anything, you get to operate in your full power. Let me explain what I mean to you by not needing anything. It certainly doesn't mean you don't need food, water, and shelter. Absolutely, it means you need that. You must eat. You must have a safe place to sleep. You need safety and security. You need a roof over your head. You need heat in the wintertime. But what I'm saying is this. When you have what you need, not putting any anxiety on the things that you don't have gives you the power to go out and get it. So let me give you an example. When I filed bankruptcy in 2008, I decided that I didn't want any debt at all. Now, I was in love with my Lexus. I love that Lexus. It's my favorite car. I'm probably giving a free advertisement right now, but you know what? It is what it is. It was pearl white. I bought it for a significant discount. It had one previous driver. one previous owner who only drove it. I think she only drove it to the grocery store and church because it had barely any miles on it. So I got it at a significant discount, and it was my car. It's what I wanted. It's what I loved. But when I made the decision to file bankruptcy, I didn't want any debt. I didn't want to pick and choose which debt I was going to keep. I didn't want to get a certain amount of bondage. I wanted to be free completely. And I did not have a need to continue to attach myself to a Lexus that was going to cost me money every month when I had another car that I could drive for free. I had another car that was paid off. I had a Toyota and I had an old BMW. And I know it sounds like it was a great BMW, but no, it was very old. It was very old. I think I bought it for maybe $1,500 or $2,500. That tells you how old it was. So, and I remember in the summertime, I don't even think we had any air conditioning. The windows wouldn't go. Like, it was a mess. But the truth is, I didn't need anything more than transportation to get me from one place to the next. So because I did not need the image that was associated with driving a Lexus, because I did not need to feel some kind of a way, guess what? I was able to come out of that situation with power. And I was blessed, but I worked very hard to rise up quickly and with power. When I made the decision to go into the entertainment business, I went to the number one place. I went to Rush Communications. When I made the decision to help people, because I opened a magazine and I saw Susie Orman standing there with Jay-Z and Beyonce and all these entertainers, and they were talking to 10,000 African American and Hispanic people, I thought, now Susie's great. She gets all my love and respect, but that's supposed to be me, because I can say stuff to my people that maybe someone of another race cannot. That just is what it is. And in addition to that, I have a different flavor. I have a different style. There's enough out here for all of us. And so because I didn't need anything, I got everything. You see, material illness is what you have when a material thing's presence gives you pleasure and its absence gives you pain. I enjoyed driving the Lexus, but not have it didn't cause me any frustration. I enjoy wearing nice clothes, but not having on the latest designer suit, that doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I don't want it on because I'm not putting $5,000, $10,000 on my body for somebody who's not pouring directly back into my community. If I don't own any stock, if it's not a business relationship, then I'm not interested. My mind is in a different place. And I know if I can get there, you can get there too. So this whole idea of material illness, are you going out spending money, buying clothing? Tell me, what is it giving you? Is it giving you a sense of satisfaction? Okay, if it is giving you a sense of satisfaction, where are you not satisfied? Are you lonely? Are you depressed? Did something go terribly wrong in your childhood? Is your marriage falling apart? Is your job not treating you well? There's some place in your life that's lacking where you have decided that you're going to get fulfillment from this over here. And it's okay to seek fulfillment, but you don't want to seek fulfillment and be depleted at the same time. It's like a room flooding and you're taking the water from one side of the room and pouring it on the other side of the room. Guess what? It's still flooding. So I'm okay with you going out and looking nice and being clean and dressing comfortably and driving a respectable car. But if you're doing that at the detriment of your own wealth, if you're doing that to the detriment of building your own family legacy, if you're doing that to the detriment of becoming a millionaire, one penny at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time, then there's something that needs to be adjusted. And what I'm saying is it's our mindsets. That's right. It's our mindset. So the state of needing nothing means I'm satisfied with what I have. Now, I'm not settling here, but it's not causing me any pain or frustration either. I'm just going to get to the grind. I'm going to put my nose to the table. I'm going to get up every day. I'm going to be consistent. And whatever that consistency is, I'm going to work out. I'm going to get my business in order. I'm going to go after my clients. I'm going to put my website together. I'm going to do what I have to do to get where I'm trying to go. I'm not going to the club kicking it. Let me tell you, I was talking to a group of 23-year-olds last night. yesterday. And they said they're tired of going to the club. I said, let me tell you something. I stopped going to the club in my early 20s after college, and I had partied and I had did all the stepping and all that stuff at a very early age. I was like, okay, enough of that. Because I've got something that I want to do with my life, and I see it. I can taste it. I can feel it. And it's not at the club. I've got a dream that I know that I can accomplish, and it's not at the club. It's not at the bar. It's not out kicking it to 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when I do go out. There were times when I did go out. I'd go out with my husband. I got married at a young age. I'd go out with family and friends from time to time. But it wasn't an everyday thing. It wasn't an every week thing. On a Saturday night or a Friday night, if there was nothing to do, guess what? I stayed my butt home and slept. Or dreamed of what it is that I wanted, or watch television, or sit quietly in my own thoughts, or I would create something. Y'all know I was a serial entrepreneur. Back in the day, I had 52,000 jobs and I wasn't good at any of them, but I had to find my place, and you've got to find your place. And when you find your place, when you find your power, you won't have a need to go out and buy money, buy clothes and spend money on things that you cannot afford. You won't have a need to just go in the mall. Let me tell you something about window shopping. Window shopping is only for windows. Now, if you're shopping for windows, then go window shopping. But if you window shopping, you are probably shopping for something that you cannot afford, because nobody goes window shopping for toothpaste. Nobody goes window shopping for bleach. Nobody goes window shopping for soap. Nobody goes window shopping for basic necessities. We're always window shopping for something that we're dreaming of. And what I'm saying to you is I want you to start window shopping for your dreams. I want you to start window shopping for that business plan. I want you to start window shopping for a strategy. I want you to start window shopping for real wealth. I want you to start window shopping for worth. There are so many things that you can get involved in. Every year, we do the wealth experience. Join us. It's me and MC Light and a whole bunch of great women, some who you know and some who you don't, and everybody's the same. Everybody's great. Join us at the wealth experience at the top of the year. Join us at some of these events. Come to the networking events. Go to the home ownership workshops. Go to the financial conferences. Go to the empowerment retreats. Window shop for that. Spend your money on your mind. If you have 9 broke friends, you're probably going to be number 10. Do you want to be number 10? I would want to be number 10. And if you have 8 wealthy friends, if you have not 8 wealthy friends or 9 wealthy friends, let me tell you, you will be number 10. Hang around the people who you aspire to become like. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group. I feel the same way about me. A lot of times I'm the smartest person in the room, or I have the most experience. And when I have the most experience, I have the most headache. When I have the most experience, I have the most frustration. So I want to move to a place where I've got a chief of staff who's much better with communicating with lots of people than I am. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to talk to you on the radio, on the podcast, on YouTube, or at an event. But one-on-one, I have so many things happening massively. So I have to get people who are good at that. I have to get people who are good at technology. I have to get people who are good in the area where they've been gifted. So this spending addiction, everybody's depending on you to succumb to what's called subliminal persuasion. Subliminal persuasion used to be legal. You go to the movie and think you were watching E.T. or whatever the movie was, and what will be flashing quicker than your eyes could see, but not too fast for your mind, is eat popcorn and drink pop. So that's what you go do. Now it's everywhere. It's in social media. It's popping up on your notifications. It's in your feed. It's everything that you see. But let me tell you something about the wealthy people I know and that I'm around. They don't spend money on this stuff. They get it for free. People send it to them for free. They ship it to them for free so they can wear it so you can buy it. So I want you to end your fixation with things that you think are going to bring you value. And I want you to tap into your true worth. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation, my favorite radio station. We're going to take a break.
More of the Millionaires Roundtable coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey, we're on the roundtable, and we know that managing finance on a tight budget can be a daunting task filled with stress and difficult decisions. From tracking expenses and setting achievable goals to avoiding impulse buys and leveraging community support, Laura Lopez, community manager at Chase, who has been here so many times, I love her so much, is here to give us some practical tips and techniques to help you take control of your financial situation. Whether you're dealing with debt, trying to cut down on household costs, or looking for ways to earn a bit more money, Laura is here and she has some practical tips to help you get on the right track. Let's dive in and make saving money a bit easier. So, Laura, you are here. Come on now. I'm so happy you're here on the roundtable. Laura, why is saving money on a tight budget so stressful?
Thank you, Dr. Lynn, first of all, for having us. We're super excited to share these tips and best practices with everyone listening to us. Saving money when you're on a tight budget can be very stressful for a bunch of reasons. For one, you don't have much wiggle room. Every dollar matters, and even small unexpected costs can throw everything off. Then there's the tough choices you have to make, right? Like cutting back on the fun stuff or cutting down on your essential expenses. Now, dealing with high interest debt while trying to save is another big stressor. It can feel like you're not making any progress because the interest keeps piling up, which can be very discouraging. But listen, here's another stressor, the social side of things. Now, Dr. Lynn, financial struggles can be embarrassing to talk about. So you might feel isolated or ashamed, making it harder to ask for help and advice. It's important to remind everyone now that we all go through financial struggles, and remembering this can help us feel a little bit more comfortable asking for help, Dr. Lynn.
Listen, you're saying these things and it is not foreign to me. I tell everybody has either had a money problem, is having a money problem, or will have a money problem at some time in the future. Everybody.
Yes.
There is no shame. There is no shame. And all of the things that you're saying, when I start to feel the money crunch, I just stay in the house. I stay in the house. I cook my own food. I don't do, ordering food and having to pay, $20 for a $10 meal. These are the things that you can start to do. So what you're saying is so important. And I need everybody to understand that there is no shame. Let me ask you this. If you're joining us, we're chatting with Laura Lopez from Chase about how to save money on a tight budget. Okay, so this is what we're doing, everybody. So I know everybody needs to listen. You need to call somebody and tell them tune in right now. Laura, what is the first step to taking control of your finances?
That's such a great question, Dr. Lynn. Tracking your expenses is a game changer when it comes to saving money, especially if you're on a tight budget. By keeping tabs on every dollar you spend, you become more aware of your spending habits and can spot patterns you might not have noticed before. This helps you see where you might be overspending, like on dining out or impulse buys. And I know I have some of those moments from time to time. With this information, you create awareness for yourself, and you can create a more realistic budget and set specific goals, whether it's building an emergency fund or paying off some of those debts. Plus, tracking expenses, Dr. Lynn, makes you more accountable and helps you cut down on wasteful spending, like, those unused subscriptions we all have and some frequent small purchases that do add up at the end of the day. Overall, it gives you more control over your finances and helps you make smarter, wiser decisions with your money.
A lot of people talk about not having any credit card debt. And I just want to tell everybody, I am in agreement with not having any credit card debt. However, you use your credit card to build points. You cannot build points on a debit card. So if I know I'm going to spend $600 for the month on food, I will charge all that food on my gold card. And then I get 500 points back because I spent it. And now I get to eat for free. So when I go to Starbucks, I pay with my point. If I go to the movies, I've told you all, I pay with my point. Those points start to add up. So those things that I want to do, that I want to, I feel like I want to have a little bit of fun, I use my points. So I want people to be mindful that you can watch your money and you can still have some fun if you are strategic. So Laura, you mentioned wasteful spending. Do you have tips for curbing impulse spending and cutting some of those extra costs?
Yes, so there are a few ways to cut down on wasteful and impulse spending, Dr. Lynn. freeing up more money for savings and essentials. Here are some simple tips, okay? Try using a list when you're shopping and make an effort to stick to it. I know it's hard because I've tried it myself, but listen, it's going to save you money and it's going to save you time because you're going to spend less time at the store. Also, set a cooling off period. Could be 24 hours, could be 8 hours, whatever works for you. But give yourself that time to really think if this purchase is good for you, right? And then another tip, you can choose to pay with cash for discretionary spending. This helps you limit yourself and you know you're not going to touch that debit card. So you allow that cash to be for that discretionary spending. And finally, this is one of my favorite ones. Hold yourself accountable by sharing your financial goals with a friend and a family member. Listen, I share it with my 13-year-old and it works all the time because he's always trying to check me and saying, hey, mom, you said you weren't going to spend your money on ice cream or chips. You know, these kids can be some of the best accountability partners. Now, cutting wasteful spending can really help stretch that budget. Start by reviewing some of those subscriptions like streaming services, gym memberships, and cancel any that you don't use regularly. Plan your meals. You were talking about this earlier, Dr. Lynn. Plan your meals. Plan your meals for the week and stick to a shopping list to avoid buying any extra groceries that might go to waste. Make your home more efficient using LED bulbs or unplugging some of those devices that are not in use. That'll help you lower your utility bills. And if possible, use transportation, carpooling, and even a bike ride, right? If it's not too far. And you'll be saving on some gas and parking fees.
I love what you're saying, like everything that you're saying, and especially when you talked about the cooling off period. Every time I want to go buy something, I look at it and then I don't buy it. I say to myself, if I still want this tomorrow, then I'll get it. Let me tell you, I never get anything. After I look at something and I'm like, let me wait till tomorrow. And I come back tomorrow, I don't even want it anymore.
I do the same thing.
Oh my God. Like I'm talking every time. Now there are some things I have to get, like my daughter's coming home and she's going to law school. So there's some things we know we have to get. We have to get stuff for the kitchen, things like that. But for the most part, when I'm just looking at something to buy it, oh my God, no. The cooling off period really works, everybody. Okay, we're chatting with Laura Lopez from Chase about ways to stretch our monthly budgets. Laura, let's chat about high interest debt. Why should we prioritize it when getting our financial house in order?
So prioritizing high interest debt is crucial because it can quickly spiral out of control and become unmanageable. High interest rates mean that the longer you pay to pay off those debts, the more you'll end up paying in interest, which can significantly increase your overall debt burden. So focusing on paying off those high interest debt first is crucial. You'll reduce the amount of interest you accrue over time, saving you money in the long run. Additionally, paying off these debts faster can help you improve your credit score, give you better financial options in the future. Overall, prioritizing high interest debt helps you regain control of your finances more quickly and more efficiently. Now, at times you may be feeling like you're not making any progress on your debt. That can be super frustrating. It happens to a lot of us, but don't lose hope. Try reevaluating your budget to find any extra cash you can put towards that debt. You might want to use the debt snowball method that is very popular and where you pay off your smallest debts first for quick wins, or maybe consider consolidating your debts for a lower interest rate, or even picking up a side hustle for extra income. If you're really stuck, then at that point, I would advise talk to a financial advisor. They are the experts and can help. Remember, paying off debts takes time, so celebrate small victories and keep pushing, keep pushing.
Well, you are the financial advisor that we are going to talk to, so everybody needs to call Laura. Like, listen, you have got the solution to our problems. Now, you know what I always say, everybody needs a home-based business. As a matter of fact, I own the trademark to how to start a home-based business. And I got this trademark because I recognized that people didn't really know what to do or how to do it. And I helped millions of people all across the globe do just that. So you mentioned side hustles. How can we supplement our income on a tight budget, Laura?
Yes, increasing your income on a tight budget can really help. And there's plenty of ways to do it. You could pick up a side hustle like ride sharing, food delivery, pet sitting. And for those bakers out there, I know you know how to bake a good cake and cupcakes. You know, these are part-time jobs. There's also part-time jobs in the retail or consumer service industry that offer very flexible hours too. So also, consider those. And since we are still in the summer, Dr. Lynn, have Having a garage sale is not a bad idea. Selling unused items around your home through a garage sale or online marketplaces can really bring some extra cash. And if you're good at a particular subject like tutoring or doing crafts, like that could be a good choice. Even participating in those online surveys or renting out extra space in your home can add you some income. There's a lot of great ways to earn a little bit more of extra money and ease that strain on your budget.
And everything you just said is a home-based business. So if you decide to go drive using one of the rideshare companies, you're an independent contractor, that's a home-based business. If you can bake cupcakes, that's a home-based business. Now, what happens, not only do you get extra money, you also get your money back. So now when you use your cell phone for your home-based business, you get to write off your cell phone bill. When you drive your car for your home-based business, you get to write off your gas or your rent, car note, or whatever you're paying. It all now starts to make sense. So what you are saying right now, Laura, is so crucial. You have to get more money and you have to get your money back if you can, legally, ethically, and morally, by telling the truth and tracking your expenses. So this is so, so good. Laura, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I love to remind everyone that managing your finances can be stressful, but don't worry, you're not alone. There are ways to make it easier. Start by taking small steps like tracking your expenses, setting a budget. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. Use resources to boost your financial knowledge. Now, celebrate your progress. Don't forget about that, no matter how small, and stay focused on your goals. You've got this, and every little bit of effort brings you closer to your financial peace of mind.
Yay! Thank you so much, Laura Lopez. Thank you so much, Chase. I love you so much. I cannot wait to have you back. Listen, everybody, the harvest is here. The time is now. It is your season to win.
Don't turn that dial. We have to take a break. We'll be right back. WVON.
More of the Millionaires Roundtable coming up on the Talk of Chicago. 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and yes, we are still creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time. Whatever you have, we're taking it one at a time. And you can get there, and I'm talking to you, yes, you. Doesn't matter if you weren't born rich. It doesn't matter if your parents never taught you anything about financial literacy. Doesn't matter if you never had access to the tools and the resources that you needed to get where you were trying to go. Doesn't matter if nobody ever taught you anything about wealth building. What matters is, where are you right now? And are you willing to make a change? Everybody who has gotten anywhere had to start somewhere. And everybody started exactly where they were. Nobody had the privilege or the benefit of just somehow waking up and being 15 steps ahead of where they were. Everybody has to start somewhere. So the thing that I'm going to ask you to do right now is I want you to think about your vision of perfection. You see, in order to end a spending addiction, in order to not be in the system, because I need you to understand, in order for there to be rich people, there have to be poor people. There have to be poor people. They give out an economic stimulus check every few years when the economy is not moving or when people aren't spending money. That's not to stimulate your economy. That's to stimulate the business economy. So they'll give you a couple $1,000s and then they'll tell you to go to the department store so you can cash it in and you can get 20% off, 10% off. That's a temporary euphoria. That's a temporary sense of satisfaction, a temporary sense of relief. You're getting the fish, but you're not learning how to fish. And in order to get to the next level, I want you to have a vision for what it is that you really want. Because when you spend money on things that you cannot afford, in lieu of building wealth, in lieu of saving, I'm not saying that you should never spend money on expensive things. You may choose to do that. I do that. Some of my pieces of jewelry, some of my handbags, they are things that I have made a choice to purchase. They are things that I have chosen to invest in for whatever reason. And you know, ladies, I tell you about the universal purse test. If the purse costs more than the amount of money you can keep in it on a regular basis, leave it on the rack. So if you have a $500 purse, but you cannot put $500 in it on a regular basis, that's not the purse that you get. You go and get the $30 purse if that's what you can afford. So if I'm carrying a bag, understand that I can put that amount of money in there on any given day at any given time. I have access to that amount of money. Now, just because I have access to it doesn't mean I should spend it every day on a expensive handbag, or an expensive car, or an expensive piece of jewelry. Things happen in moderation. Yes, you deserve to enjoy yourself in this life, but do so with a plan. Do so with a vision in mind. So if you want to look good, then what I also want you to understand is, what do you really want? What is your vision of perfection? I have a process that everybody can go through. If you're listening to this, you can call my office right now at 888-LYNN-123, or you can go to my website at lynnmillionaire.com, click Get Help, and go through the process so you can have a consultation with me. And I will put you through the process where you can create your financial vision of perfection. What does your financial life look like? Can you envision it? If you can envision it, and then if you can make a plan to get there, then it's going to probably halt you from making the decisions that are going to stop you from getting there. It's real simple. I want a happy marriage. So guess what? I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hide things from my husband. I'm not going to go out and have questionable activities. I'm not going to do anything, because I want a happy marriage. I want a happy home. I want healthy, whole, and happy children. So guess what? I'm not going to run around the world spending money and going on fancy trips and just doing things that I want to do that I should be able to do for myself. I'm going to sacrifice. My children are going to see a mother who works hard, one who comes home every night, unless she's traveling. But if she is traveling, she's doing what she said she's going to do, and nobody has to guess, well, where is she? We haven't heard from her. What is she doing? They're going to see me bringing money back into the household. They're going to see me investing in their dreams. They're going to see me holding them accountable. I want a great business, so I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be loyal to the end. You can't come to me in my business and try to disrupt it by bringing down the people in it. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to give what I expect, and what I want to receive is loyalty. So I am loyal in return. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. If something isn't working right, I'm going to say this isn't working right. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to train you, because I want great people in the company with my money. I want a retirement plan. I want a pension. I want a 401k. I want to make sure that if something happens to me today, that my legacy can continue on tomorrow without me. I'm not that selfish to think that it can only happen with me. I want it to grow. And as a matter of fact, I want it to be bigger than me without me. How about that? I want it to be bigger than me without me. So I've got the proper life insurance in place, and the proper business insurance in place, and the proper disability insurance in place. Because not only do I have a vision for my financial reality while I'm alive, I have a vision for it after I'm gone. There should be a legacy. I'm donating money to charity. I'm pouring into people's lives. So what does that look like for you? Yes, you can dream. You have permission to dream. You don't have to stay in the situation that you're in right now because you're in it. We've all been in something. I'm in something right now, but this is not where I want to stay. Now, it's great, but I want to expand. Why? So I can help people. I was just having this conversation with my colleague, sister, friend, and business partner, MC Light. And I said, there are so many things happening in our enterprise. And guess what? It's all happening so that we can be of service to others. We're getting more capacity so we can help more people. That's it. That's the bottom line. So what are you going to do about the problem that you know you have, that you are choosing to have yourself? Just like I was when I was living check to Monday, it was because of my own issues. It was because of my own problems. It was because of my own inability and unwillingness to listen to and follow the truth that I was telling everybody else. What truth are you not adhering to? What have you not done? Is it your budget? Many of my clients, and I've got many of you out there who are working with me in one capacity or the next, but you haven't completed your budget. Go get all your bills. Get them right now. Get every last one of them. Go through your bank statement. Take a look at what you spent for the last 30 days. I know it might make you cry. I cried for about 2 weeks the first time I looked at my budget, because my check stopped up here and my bills kept going all the way down the page. I've been there. I've done that. I got out of it, and you can too. It is time to end your spending addiction on whatever it is, because you deserve more. You are more. You're great. You just need to step into your own power. You're listening to the Millionaires Roundtable right here on WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation. I'm Lynn Richardson. You can find me everywhere. LynnMillionaire.com is the website. Follow at Lynn Millionaire, the radio show. LynnRichardson.com, that's me personally. And you can follow at Lynn Richardson on all social media. Don't stop, don't hesitate. Reach out now, let me help you, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. You have been listening to the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson. It's WVON 1690 AM, the talk of Chicago, the voice of the nation, our favorite radio station. I want you to follow me on social media at Lynn Richardson. Follow this show at Lynn Millionaire. Go and get help at asklynn.org because I want to help you take it to the next level. Guess what? I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.